The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. 7 attitudes of a person who only uses you and doesn't care about you. Not everyone who enters your life has good intentions. Some people don't see you as a person. They see you as a tool, a resource, something to be used and discarded once your value runs out. They don't care about your well-being, your struggles, or your growth. They only care about what you can offer them. The problem? These people don't always reveal themselves right away. At first they may seem supportive, kind, or even generous. But slowly, you start to notice patterns, subtle manipulations, guilt-tripping, constant taking without giving. You start to feel drained, but you can't quite explain why. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And when you surround yourself with emotional exploiters, your mind becomes clouded with doubt, stress, and exhaustion. But once you learn to recognize these patterns, everything changes. Today, we're breaking down the 7 key attitudes of emotional exploiters, their mindsets, their tactics, and most importantly, how to stop them from controlling your peace. Because the strongest defense against manipulation isn't confrontation, it's wisdom. So let's dive in. Number 1. They make everything about themselves. When you are offended at any man's fault, turn to yourself and study your own failings. Then you will forget your anger. Epictetus. You tell them about your struggles, and somehow within seconds, the conversation shifts back to them. You share a success, and suddenly they're telling you how they did something even bigger. These people don't listen to understand, they listen to respond. Because to them, your role in the relationship isn't to be heard, it's to be a background character in their story. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is that we should seek to understand before seeking to be understood. But emotional exploiters do the opposite. They live in a self-centered reality where every interaction must serve their ego. And if it doesn't, they'll dismiss you, interrupt you, or outright ignore you. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. Despite ruling over one of the most powerful empires in history, he constantly reminded himself to remain humble and listen to others. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is a stark contrast to emotional exploiters, who only pretend to be good while using others for their own gain. They dismiss your emotions unless it benefits them. They constantly steer conversations back to themselves. They act as if their problems are always bigger than yours. When you recognize this trait in someone, the best response isn't anger, it's detachment. As Epictetus taught, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. Instead of reacting emotionally, step back and ask yourself, is this person truly capable of valuing me as an equal? If the answer is no, it may be time to create distance. Number 2, they guilt you into doing things for them. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a living man. Seneca. Emotional exploiters don't like to ask for things directly. Why? Because that would give you the freedom to say no. Instead, they use guilt as a weapon. They make you feel selfish for setting boundaries. They remind you of all the things they've done for you, whether real or exaggerated, just to pressure you into compliance. It starts subtly. Maybe they say things like, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," or "I guess I just can't count on you like I thought I could." It sounds like disappointment, but it's really manipulation. Because in their mind, your value isn't based on who you are. It's based on what you can do for them. They make you feel guilty for saying no. They remind you of past favors to pressure you. They expect you to sacrifice for them, but wouldn't do the same for you. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Do not act as if you had 10,000 years to throw away. Death stands at your elbow. Be good for something while it is in your power." The message? Your time and energy are limited. You are not obligated to waste them on people who only take and never give. Guilt is a tool emotional exploiters use to make you feel responsible for their happiness. But in truth, no one owns that responsibility except themselves. So what do? You remember this. Guilt is not the same as duty. A person who truly cares about you will accept your boundaries. A manipulator will test them. Your job is to stand firm. As Seneca warned, he who is brave is free. And nothing is braver than choosing yourself over those who only seek to control you. Number 3, they never take responsibility for their actions. You are not a failure until you start blaming others for your mistakes. John Wooden. Some people live their entire lives avoiding accountability. No matter what happens, it's never their fault. If they fail, it's because someone else sabotaged them. If they hurt you, it's because you made them do it. These people refuse to acknowledge their mistakes, not because they don't see them, but because admitting fault would mean giving up control. Stoicism teaches us that taking responsibility for our own actions is the key to personal freedom. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But emotional exploiters refuse to look inward. Instead of learning from their mistakes, they rewrite the story to make themselves the victim. They always shift blame to others. They justify their bad behavior instead of apologizing. They gaslight you into thinking their mistakes are actually yours. A classic example is when they say things like, "I wouldn't have yelled at you if you hadn't upset me," or "You're too sensitive. I was just joking." These phrases are designed to shift the blame onto you, making you question your own reality. This is what the Stoics warned against, allowing others to manipulate our perception. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." In the same way, it is not that exploiters can't take responsibility, it's that they refuse to, and that refusal is what keeps them weak. How do you deal with this? First, don't argue with them. A person who refuses to take responsibility will never suddenly wake up and say, "You're right, I was wrong." Instead, observe them. If someone consistently avoids blame and shifts it onto you, take it as a sign. As Epictetus said, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. You can't change them, but you can change how much space they take in your life. Number 4, they disrespect your boundaries. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect. But emotional exploiters? They see your boundaries as obstacles to overcome. The moment you say no, they push harder. The moment you pull away, they find ways to guilt, pressure, or manipulate you into doing what they want. To them, your comfort doesn't matter, only their desires. They might laugh it off and say, "You're being too sensitive," or act like your boundaries are an attack on them. In reality, their reaction isn't about you, it's about control. Because to them, if they can break your boundaries, they can break your will. They test your limits by repeatedly crossing lines you set. They get angry, offended, or dismissive when you say no. They use manipulation or guilt to wear you down. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If someone constantly invades your space, pressures you, or disrespects your limits, they are poisoning your mind with stress and anxiety. And in the eyes of Stoicism, allowing this is a form of self-betrayal. How do you protect yourself? The key is consistency. Boundaries mean nothing if you don't enforce them. Seneca said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." If someone refuses to respect your limits, the lesson is clear: they do not respect you. And if you continue to allow it, you are giving away your power. A Stoic does not seek to control others, but they do control their own response. If someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, you don't need to argue, justify, or explain yourself. You simply enforce them, and if necessary, you walk away. Number 5. They are only around when they need something. True relationships are built on mutual respect, support, and shared experiences. But emotional exploiters, they treat relationships like a transaction. They only appear when they need something: money, attention, validation. But the moment you need them, they're nowhere to be found. You'll notice a pattern. They only call when they need a favor. They only check in when they want something from you. And if you ever stop giving, they disappear. These are not friends, not partners, not people who truly care. These are users, and their loyalty lasts only as long as your usefulness. They vanish when you need them but expect you to be there for them. They show little interest in your life unless it benefits them. They make excuses when you ask for the same support they demand. Epictetus warned us about this when he said, "A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope." If your connection with someone is built only on what you can provide, then it is not a real relationship. It's an illusion. How do you deal with this? First, test the waters. If you stop initiating contact, do they still reach out? If you say no to a request, do they still treat you the same? Marcus Aurelius advised, "Look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look there." A true connection does not crumble when you set boundaries, but a transactional relationship does, because it was never about you in the first place. So let them go. A Stoic does not chase relationships that only drain them. Instead, they cultivate real friendships, ones that are built on virtue, not convenience. Number 6, they undermine your confidence. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. Seneca. Emotional exploiters don't just want to control what you do, they want to control how you see yourself. And the easiest way to do that? Slowly chip away at your confidence. They disguise their insults as jokes, question your decisions to make you second-guess yourself, and subtly remind you that without them, you wouldn't be as strong, as successful, or as capable. At first, it seems harmless. Maybe they tease you about your goals or downplay your achievements. But over time, their words create doubt, and that doubt keeps you dependent on them. The truth is, they fear your independence, because once you realize your own worth, you no longer need them. They make backhanded compliments that lower your confidence. They dismiss your successes or compare them to theirs. They plant self-doubt, so you rely on their approval. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But emotional manipulators try to make you forget this truth. They want to be the voice in your head, controlling your self-worth. How do you deal with this? First, recognize that their words are a reflection of their own insecurity, not your reality. People who try to break others down are usually afraid of being left behind. As Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." True confidence doesn't come from seeking approval. It comes from knowing who you are, regardless of what others say. So the next time someone makes you doubt yourself, ask, "Is this criticism helping me grow? Or is it designed to keep me small?" If it's the latter, walk away. Because no one who truly values you will ever make you feel less than you are. Number 7. They drain your energy and peace. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Some people don't take from you physically, financially, or even emotionally. They take your peace. Being around them feels exhausting. Their presence is chaotic, their conversations are filled with negativity, and their energy is draining. They pull you into their problems, demand your time, and leave you feeling mentally and emotionally depleted. The Stoics teach us that peace is something we must protect. If someone is constantly disrupting your inner calm, they are taking something more valuable than money or time. They are taking your clarity. Seneca warned against this when he wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." But energy drainers do the opposite. They keep you stuck in their cycles of stress, drama, and negativity. You feel mentally exhausted after being around them. They always bring chaos, negativity, or stress into your life. They expect you to fix their problems but never work on themselves. One of the greatest Stoic practices is learning to master your response. Marcus Aurelius advised, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that while you cannot control how others behave, you can control whether or not you allow them into your space. How do you protect your energy? First, recognize when someone is a constant drain on your peace. Do they bring value into your life, or just problems? If their presence disrupts your inner calm more than it enriches it, then you have your answer. The Stoics teach us that true strength is not in fixing others, but in mastering ourselves. You do not need to engage in every battle or entertain every person. Epictetus put it simply, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." If someone repeatedly disrupts your peace, it is up to you, not them, to decide if they stay in your life. Walk away, not with anger, but with wisdom. A mind at peace is a mind that is free. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Emotional exploiters thrive in the shadows of our blind spots. They use manipulation, guilt, and control to keep us trapped in relationships that serve only them. But once you recognize their patterns, their attitudes, you take back your power. You stop giving energy to those who drain you. You stop seeking approval from those who never valued you. And most importantly, you reclaim your peace. The Stoics teach us that true freedom comes from within. You don't need to fight these people. You don't need to change them. You only need to master yourself, to set boundaries, walk away when necessary, and never let anyone control your mind or emotions. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And now you have the knowledge to master not only yourself, but also the relationships you allow into your life. Choose wisely, because protecting your peace is not selfish, it's necessary. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe, turn on post notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in our next video.